afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Power of New Media. Here to discuss with you new marketing techniques and how to get your business online. I'm here with my co-host, Michael Katakis from New Media Marketing, and I am Patrick from PMX.
What's happening?
So, Mikey, let's talk a little bit about websites today and see, what these guys out there and girls are doing to get their website shown to people and increase their visibility and some of the things we do internally to a website that make it better.
You know, websites are a little bit confusing, Pat, because there's so many different options out there, and I'm sure you guys have heard all the different, common phrases of WordPress blogs or WordPress platforms and customized PHP and HTML websites, and it's a plethora of different options. And I think what we're going to try to do today is just cut through the chase a little bit and start to define those things that are most important when you're trying to choose, what type of a website to build.
Well, let's go through it. First things first, guys. If you're a small business owner and you want to kind of administer your own website, what you're looking for in a website is called a CMS. That's a content management system. And if you want to find out more information about content management systems, please visit our website at www.powerofnewmedia.com.
Yeah, so like CMS systems, like Pat's saying, is something that gives you the ability to edit, modify, and change. And I think that's important in all websites, Pat, but some are a little bit easier than others. You hear about all these templates that are out there too, Pat, and this open source PHP, and it gets really confusing to the average Joe.
Oh yeah. So my personal favorite out of all of these has been Joomla. It's a European platform, was born from Mambo quite a few years ago, and became very popular as people really started to dig in, and a lot of the younger folks started opening up businesses. Joomla is a CMS system, and it allows you to create pages and menu items with just a few clicks. If you want to find out a little bit more about Joomla and you want to be able to administer your own website, please visit our website at www.powerofnewmedia.com.
So, Pat, now you don't have to pay for Joomla, right? I mean, that's what the whole great thing about that is.
No, it's open source, Mike. That means that you can get it for free. And install yourself pretty much every host that's out there, GoDaddy, HostMonster, 1&1. These guys all have, one-click installs of Joomla. Now, I know that we've been talking an awful lot about Joomla and how it's a CMS system, but I also want to talk about WordPress, because WordPress, with most small business owners, if you heard of Joomla and you've heard of WordPress, they're both very popular, and WordPress was kind of born out of blogging, and then they made it extensible by making plugins that you can plug into it and get certain functionality to your website. Now, Joomla and WordPress both have extensibility, but with WordPress, it's a little bit easier. It's made for more of the lay person, so if you're not really techie but you want to get into the CMS platforms, I'd go with WordPress. And if you want to find out more about WordPress, please visit our website at www.powerofnewmedia.com.
So with all of the websites, and again, if you've been catching our last shows the last couple of weeks, but we focused in on the brand and on the message, and we're kind of saying at this point you've already hooked into that. You've already defined that, again, that hook, look, and feel that we always talk about, and you're implementing it in the website. But it is important to still create some basic startup steps, let's call them, before you even get into picking out your system. I think the most important thing is something called a sitemap. And a sitemap is really just a diagrammatic layout of your website that defines the types of pages, the types of content that you want in there, so that you're going to elicit the types of responses that you're trying to get to.
Yeah, sitemaps are integral too for building out your SEO, because that's kind of a directory for the robots to say, hey, I've got this page and it's over here. And sitemaps are typically ranked in importance. The more you have in your sitemap and the easier it is to get tracked, then obviously the easier it is for search engines to generate traffic for you. That typically helps your SEO, as well as having good information there. Try to, when you're building out a website, especially if you're a small business owner, I know most of you guys out there are, so just try to keep it as simple as possible. The more depth you give your website, the more loss you're going to have on your customer side. And that's a pitfall that's, big with small business owners that want to try and use a CMS system is you get too far into it. And you just got to remember to just keep your menu simple, keep everything like one click away, most important stuff on top, and then content, repetition, alignment, and placement. That's huge on a website, and a lot of people get lost. They buy this beautiful design. Like, I've seen Michael just deliver beautiful, creative designs, and as soon as you hand it over to a customer because they want to go ahead and edit it themselves, it just gets busted. And it's very unfortunate, even if you try and walk them through. Remember, guys, if you're using a CMS system, don't break your own site. If you pay for a really nice design, I mean, I know people that design up to $200,000 templates for people. And I'll tell you, you just got to make sure that when you're doing your own stuff on there and you put your images and things, just try and use the same patterns that you see on the screen. It's very simple. And a lot of the CMS systems, especially WordPress and Joomla, you have editors in there that you can drag and drop where you want things. But try and keep it as simple as possible. When you're editing your content, and you want to find out a little bit more about editing your content here on the Power of New Media, visit our website at www.powerofnewmedia.com.
I think it's really important, like you do, Pat, saying, start out with that thought process on paper. I think too many people jump right into this thing. Define what it is that you want to say. Get that messaging really thought out so that it is search engine optimized. It is thinking the way a customer has to think. And, it's something, it's really that you got to really become is that authority on your website. People want to get to a site that delivers the right type of content, the right type of authority. And when you start to deliver that the right way, you will be found in the search engines the right way. You kind of have to think about it that way. I think it's important also to become a resource. Guys, so many people are always trying to hard sell things. Pat, they're always trying to say it's $1.99. And listen, we're not saying that a product or service website wouldn't have that information, but you could do it in an educational manner. The more that you teach and educate people on your site, the more that people are going to want to go to that as a resource, and that resource becomes huge, and all that content can get picked up in those search engines. And it's important that you start to define your types of products and services and educate people. Don't be afraid to share your content. This is a game of content, and whoever shares it, as we talked about before, whoever tells that story a little bit better is going to get across a lot better and get it out there quicker.
Yeah, and the more clicks you get, the higher you'll get promoted in the ranks of the search engines. It really takes delivering your message, and like I say, in CMS systems, it's easy to not follow the patterns of your website because you want to edit your content or you want to get it out fast. But take your time, lay it out, and share it. And when you share your content, try and keep it as fun and interesting as possible, because a lot of people get a lot of boring content out there, and it just fails.
And that's
those are pitfalls that we see a lot of small business owners going into, and we try and help them out of that pitfall.
Here's a funny story, and this is done by a blog called copyblogger.com, and I picked this up today, and I just thought this was so interesting, Pat. It's about cashing in on that authority figure and being that type of website and that type of resource. And he gives an example of a little thing that happened down in Vegas, where a television reporter dresses up as a security guard, and he puts a security guard uniform on. He sits in front of a bank in Las Vegas. He sticks a sign on it on the ATM and establishes himself with a big gold badge and the following message. And on the message, Pat, it said, "Out of order, give deposits to guard on duty." And the bank customer started showing up, and each time the fake guard smiled and asked if the customer wanted to make a deposit or a withdrawal, and the whole scenario sounds like crazy as heck, right? But no bank would ever obviously do this, yet customer after customer handed off the cash to this guy, gave their social security numbers, gave their credit cards, gave their account numbers and PIN numbers.
And next thing you know, the guy is now them.
Yeah. And out of the 10 people who came, only one hesitated, and he even complied after seconds later. And then when the reporter asked these people, why would you hand over that money and that private information to that guy? And they all said, because of the uniform, because of the sign. In other words, they complied because he was perceived as an authoritative and therefore trustworthy. And that's what this is all about. And this goes down to neuroscience. It reveals all kinds of things on brain scans. It shows you that your brain kind of shuts down when you encounter an authoritative figure or a direction. And I think, for websites, and most importantly, you need to be that authority. It makes you powerful, and then with that creates that trustworthiness. So it's really important that you do come out there and think about the content that you're putting out there and how you put yourself out there in the right way. And we're going to get into a little bit more of that in our next half here. We're going to take a little break and talk about more
e-commerce a little bit. I'm going to go through some of the CMS systems that you may be using alongside an e-commerce platform.
Responsive design.
That's I can't wait for that discussion. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah,
we're going to get into a little bit about that. But again, my name is Michael Katakis, and we're here with my co-host Pat
PMX,
and together we are bringing you the power of new media. Stay tuned, and we'll be right with you.